Hi everybody, this is Diane. I'm working on this fabric cover made from a vintage patchwork quilt, beautiful Dresden plate with pinks and whites and yellows in it. And I pieced it already with some strips of fabric that I had to add some interest. But the thing is, I left one. This is just a thin fabric and this is quilted, and in order to make the cover consistent, I decided to take some pieces of this quilted fabric that I happen to have in my stash, and even some of the pieces that I cut off of this, like that strip, to fill in. So I'm going to do that on the last piece and show you how I did that. First of all, I cut this a little smaller than I should have, but then I decided it would look good to add other pieces anyway, so I really like that I'm being able to add some extra fabric just to add a little more interest to the cover. So I had this piece, and then I sewed these two strips on, and then I sewed the longer strips on. So now I'm going to take this strip. The inside I think is gonna be covered anyway. I debated on, I really like the way that looks, but I think I'm gonna cover it with wallpaper. So it doesn't really matter what is on the strips. Maybe I want to keep that piece because it's got some patchwork. So I'll use some of this plain. This is just quilted fabric I've had in my stash for quite a while, and I've used it here and there, but I think this and this little piece are the last. I think that's all I have left. So I want it to be a little wider than the strip because I needed to cover up this raw edge. Well, that was the plan I had before I decided to cover it with wallpaper. You can see the raw edge is covered there, so it would be fine to use this as this without anything covering it. So just in case I decide not to go with the wallpaper, we're gonna make sure we're covering up the raw edges and making it look nice on the back. I'm using the pattern on the quilt in the quilting to cut straight here. I'm just cutting right through the points of the diamonds. My granddaughter is here watching something on Disney Plus, so if you can hear that, that's all that is. It's not quite long enough, so as I did down here, I just added an extra little piece. So I'm going to take just a little piece of this, of the quilt, and that will get tacked on to the end there. Just put some pins in it to hold it in place while I sew it. This quilt, or this journal cover, is going to be the book. It's going to be the cover for a design team project for Victoria Designs. And I can tell you, I guess I can tell you that the name of the kit is Cozy Cottage, and that's all I'll tell you because the kit is not released yet, and it will be released July 8th. And on July 8th I will have a video, hopefully, of my completed journal. So I won't be showing you any of the digital kit until the kit is released. So I am going to, turn this a little bit, I'm going to sew this edge first that needs to cover up the raw edge. I'm just going to use a zigzag stitch. Oops. And now I will actually, just to make it less awkward for me, I'm gonna trim that and start here so that I'm just used to sewing on this edge. So this will be easier for me. So I'm just gonna sew the raw edge. I'll flip it over and do it on this side. Now if I wasn't going to cover this, I would probably want to stitch right here where I added that little patch, but it doesn't matter if I'm going to cover it with wallpaper. I do want to, which one did I just do? I did this one. I think there's some I need to trim off of the backing here, the quilted piece that I just added. All right, next thing I want to do is glue a spine in place. So I have to find the center. I have a 2-inch piece of the hanging file folder, the green hanging file folder. And I'm going to fold this in half and just kind of put a crease in the fabric, but also put a pin there right in the center. That will help. And cut this down to size and mark the center of it. This is 2 inches, so I just need to mark the center at the top and bottom so I can line it up properly. so I can use that pin and the marking, the pin on the fabric and the marking on my folder, and that will be the spine. And that will help me when I have to sew the signature in. You could just sew the signatures to the soft cover. You don't need to have a spine per se, but this will help me know exactly how to position the signatures and get it where it needs to be. I find it difficult to sew signatures into a soft cover that doesn't have a defined spine. So this is just Fabri-Tac glue. Take those pins out before the glue sticks them in there. Oh, it doesn't look centered, does it? Must be I just didn't have that part centered, because I think the front and the back line up like they should. Now I brought in some wallpaper pieces. I like this pink paisley one. And this neutral one. And then I can fill in with this pretty piece and this piece. So I'm thinking that I will glue these pieces down and then sew around the edge, and hopefully it's gonna work. I've never done this before, so let's just start gluing and see how it goes. I'm not gonna fold it until I give the glue plenty of time to dry. Guess I don't need to go right to the edge since I'm gonna sew around the edges, but I don't want it to buckle in the middle, so I want to get lots of glue here. Must be I was going to put this wallpaper in a book once, because it's got a crease right down the middle, like it was folded to be a page. Oh, I was going to put this underneath it. Maybe I want that on the front. Well, that piece isn't quite big enough. So I didn't bring my wallpaper in with me. So I'm going to have to find something else to go here. I can glue that here and then just put a little piece of wallpaper there. Where's my spine? It's right there. So yeah, that would be on the back part. Yeah, I'll just find a different piece to go there. Just going to trim off where it wasn't quite straight here and it's sticking out of the edge. So once that is really dry, I will fold the wallpaper where the spine is, and then I will sew all around the edge. What else will I want to do? I might add some laces or something to this cover. So this is, right here is the front cover. The spine starts right here. So this is the front cover. Let me think about what I want to add to this while we wait for things to dry. I don't know if that's what I'll add. I'm just playing. I think I do better with that stuff when you guys aren't watching. I guess I get self-conscious. Looking at my laces. That's pretty. I could put maybe a ribbon underneath here to tie it with. I'm not going to do anything permanent right now. I just thought I would look at options while my glue dries. And Fabri-Tac doesn't take very long to dry, so it might be okay now. Still looking at my laces. I could cut that and sew a piece or glue a piece on there. So I think I'll just add some little bits of pretty laces and doilies to the front cover. But I don't want to take away too much from that pretty Dresden plate design. So here is my spine. I can see it at the top here where the spine is. So I can crease it. And there's my book cover. So I don't want to make you watch, but I will zigzag stitch all the way around, and then I will embellish it, and I will work on pages. So I've got a haul video from the flea market to show tomorrow. Today's Monday, so on Tuesday you'll see the flea market, a small haul, and Wednesday you'll see this video. So that gives me Tuesday and Wednesday to work on the pages without a camera, since I can't show you the digital kit. But I think I can work on some of the other pages that don't involve the digital kit on camera. I think this is going to be pretty. I'm happy with that. I also have another cover to do, this one. So I'm going to have to build that up also. I didn't pick out any fabrics for doing that, because I just wanted to do this first and see how it made out. What do you think of it with the wallpaper on the inside? And put a little bit in here. Of course, I'll have to get another piece of wallpaper for here. I think it'll be nice having the wallpaper there. And it gives me a chance to use my wallpapers. Now I have to do all that again with this cover. Now this one, when I cut it, I wasn't thinking about putting a spine on it, so then I thought I will have to make it a single signature. But if I build out the edges, I can put a spine in it, at least a small spine, and make it a full-size journal. Because there's a lot of pages in that kit, and I'd like to put them all into 2 journals. So I don't need to add a lot to the height, but more to the width. I'm just going to use a straight stitch to sew this piece on. It's going a little too fast. I just hope I have enough quilted fabric that I can fill in the spaces on these. I think this quilt was a little bit thicker than the other one. Sounds quiet in there now. I wonder if she's taking a nap. I have to go to the post office. I skipped the gym today. I was going to take her with me. She has a membership there with her dad. And so we were going to go to the gym today, but the flea market was so hot, and I don't do well in the heat, so it just kind of whooped me. And I worked so hard last week doing all my de-stash that I think I need to take today to just not do too much. So we're skipping the gym today. So if you saw me do this on the other piece, I'm just going to zigzag around it and keep that in place, and I'll add another piece up here. Maybe I won't, because I don't want it to be too tall. Maybe just a really thin strip to kind of balance it out. And I can always cut this smaller if I need it to be smaller. So I'm going to pick out a piece of fabric for the edges, the front ends. This is pretty. It's a flannel. Oh no, it's not a flannel. Is it? I used to have a flannel that looked like that. Very similar to it. I think that's a little too dark. Looking through my fabrics here. I don't want them to be both all pink, 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 even though I like pink. Some of you don't. That would be cute. I like that. But it's not tall enough. So I'm going to have another little piece up here, I think. I don't know. I think I'm going to have to do some thinking on that. I don't want to rush my decision just because I'm on video. So I'm going to call this video done for today, and you will see this finished when I get it finished. Yeah. So thanks for hanging out with me today while I worked on these fabric covers. I will continue working on this journal till it gets to the point where you will be able to see it. And I will see you in the next video. Have a creative day today. Bye-bye.